One of the places you should always consider putting your videos out on is on social media. It's a great way to get your message out there and to put yourself in front of your audience. But how you produce those videos and the thought that goes into it is something that can make or break your campaign. I'm Laura McElroy, and in this episode, we're talking about social media videos. First, Gary's going to be joining us, and he's going to tell you about what he does when he produces social media videos. And then after that, we'll go through some best practices for you to keep in mind the next time you produce your next social media video. Gary is joining me today. Gary Klein, he's a producer at Plum Media. Thanks for coming on with us today.
Hello.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a producer-director here. I come from a background of doing both broadcast and high-end corporate media, so a little bit of two different worlds, but there's a lot of similarities between the two and a few differences. I guess I've been doing it and seeing this business from two different angles for a long time.
You've done a lot of social media videos in your career. What is the purpose? Why should people be jumping on this?
Well, I think it's just the greatest opportunity right now. Back before, if you wanted to get your product out there, boy, you had to really do an expensive advertising campaign. Now, there's a lot of free platforms out there through, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram are some of the big ones that a lot of my customers use. And, you can get awareness of your service or product out there really quickly and easily and develop an audience through people that like your page. Really your social media audience, I kind of think of it as very similar to a broadcast audience. Say, for instance, if you targeted a TV commercial, and you put it during an NFL game, you knew pretty much from analytics who was watching that. Now, even more targeted through social media, you know who your customers are because they're interested in you, and you can target your content to reach that specific group.
When you're talking about doing TV commercials and the similarities with social media, but there are some differences between the two that you need to take into consideration when you're making your video.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference that I would say when you're going to do a social media video, you can't mess around. Just jump right in, start right at the front end of your video. Make sure that your customer sees, even on that very first thumbnail of the video, make sure when they look at that, they see it as something that they're interested in. If you sell shoes, make sure that first image on your social media video is an image of a shoe. And that'll get people to click through. Don't build up. People aren't going to sit there and have the patience to listen to a 2-minute preamble. Just get right to it. And what I tell people too is when you build your social media channel, don't put too much content out there. Keep it tight. Keep it concise. People appreciate the extra time that you take into taking their time into consideration and giving them things that you know are very important to them. 1 post per day is really what I try to tell people. The easiest way to make sure that when people come to your social media site or their channel, that they're going to be able to quickly see information that's about you and click through and do what you want them to do. And another thing I like to say is like when you do your videos for social media, remember that you've got a combination of information you're going to put in your post and the information that's going to be in your video. Keep your videos timeless. Don't put things that are date sensitive or time sensitive in there because those are kind of more difficult to change. If you're promoting an event that's coming up, as soon as it's over, then your videos kind of look dated and people don't know whether they should even pay attention to it then or not. Put that kind of content in the post content because that's easily updated, changed. Make a new post and then put your video out, repurpose it again, restream it. Once you've got your audience hooked, then you've got an opportunity to tell them where to go and where to click through for them to find more information about you, your website, YouTube channel, whatever it would be.
When you're putting these videos together, what are some things that you take into consideration when you're producing them, when you're in the production stage?
Yeah, I guess that's one of the big things I would say is very similar between broadcast and corporate media and social media videos is that you can control the how you produce your pieces. And the how is basically how you shoot the piece, how your audio is recorded, how your script is written. Is it concise? How your host comes across when they're presenting the information. Basically, you want your social media to be a representation of all the other professional work that you do to put your business out there. You're a professional person, you run a professional business, your media should be a representation of that as well too. And you can do that intangibly by making sure that your content is concise, that it is professionally shot, that it is recorded with a good professional microphone. Those are just a few things that you can do that when your customers see your media, they understand, okay, that's a high-end looking piece. This company must do really high-end work. I can trust them. So I'm going to go to them and find out more information about what they do and how to get a hold of them and take things to the next step.
Gary, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
And you can learn more about Gary, too, if you head on over to the website, plummedia.com, and see some of the social media works that he's done over the past. Some award winners on there, too.
There's a few, yeah. We have some fun with our videos that we do, too. So it's a good opportunity to show people that you like to have a good time, too.
So for social media videos, some best practices to keep in mind. Get to the point. You only have 3 seconds to get and keep your viewers' attention, so make sure you start with that key content, that first frame. It's as important as the 6th or 7th frame. Design for no sound, because when you're scrolling through your phone, you probably don't have your sound on. So make sure your content's easy to follow without the use of sound, or tell people to turn the sound on. Caption and text, very important in this part. Post natively. Number 3, don't link to the video. Yeah, you've uploaded it on YouTube, but you don't want to link to that YouTube page if you're posting on Facebook. You want to post the video directly to Facebook. You're going to get better views and more engagement that way. Make sure to include a call to action. Tell the viewers exactly what you want them to do after watching. Use that clear, simple language in the text accompanying the video. That's a key element in making sure that your campaign is successful. And if you want a bigger audience, you gotta put some money behind it. Social networks are more and more becoming more of an ad platform, and the only way to make sure your audience is seeing your video is to put an ad budget behind it. Even if it's just a small one, you can target it to get in front of your key audience. If you go to the show notes, we're going to have a link on there so you can download these best practices and keep them with you. If you like what you're hearing, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. You can find out more information about what we talked about with social media videos, about Gary, about what it is we do here by heading over to the show notes or going to plummedia.com/podcasts. For Gary, I'm Laura. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.